Stassi Schroeder keeps former Pump Rules co-stars at distance. Stassi Schroeder may have spent 8 seasons on Vanderpump Rules, billed as the Queen Bee. Yet she was fired after season 8 and seemed to be estranged from much of the cast. Now that she has had a resurgence, Stassi is sharing that she keeps her former co-stars at a distance. So, what is the reason, and can they ever reconnect? Keep reading for more details. Stassi Schroeder can't trust her former co-stars. For 8 seasons of Vanderpump Rules, Stassi Schroeder appeared to have many on and off relationships with her co-stars. They traveled together, opened up businesses, attended each other's weddings, and were even intimate. Yet after season 8, Stassi, Kristen Doute, Max Boyens, and Brett Kapp were fired. It seemed like Stassi remained on good terms with some of the cast, such as Katie Maloney, Tom Schwartz, Kristen, Brittany Cartwright, and Jax Taylor. However, things hit a wall, and she is now opening up about the current status of those friendships. On House of Stassi, it was made clear that Stassi had ghosted her former bestie, Katie Maloney. Yet they reconciled for the sake of the series, and she is still on good terms with Katie's ex-husband, Tom Schwartz. In the past, she had a blowout with Jax and Brittany for ditching her Italy wedding last minute. She claims that last time she and Jax talked was before her wedding in May 2022. As for the rest of the cast, this is where Stassi stands. I don't talk to the other ones. I see Ariana Madix out, and it's always nice to see her, but I keep them at a distance. A lot of them, it's like, if you give an inch, they take a mile. So if I run into them, we'll be cordial, but I'm not picking up the phone anytime soon. Stassi Schroeder did stop by Katie and Ariana's sandwich shop, something about her, along with Andy Cohen, when it first opened. Bravo fans loved seeing them all together again and had hoped that the Bravoverse was healing. Stassi did note that she would have liked Tom Schwartz to pop up on her new show. However, he was contracted to Bravo, and this is a Hulu series. Stassi Schroeder is thrilled to be back on reality television with the people that she loves. She has stated that she wants to be like Kris Jenner. However, not everyone is as happy as they thought they would be to have her back. Seeing her and Katie Maloney is a treat for Vanderpump Rules fans, but sometimes Stassi can be too much. Her show was on Freeform, so I tuned in for 5 minutes. That's all I could stand. She's really a legend in her own mind. I can't believe she generates so much income that Beau is a stay-at-home dad. She's insufferable. She's not even really back. She's already acting like she's important enough for us to care. Nobody cares what she thinks. I watched all the episodes and felt the entire time that most of the storylines were scripted and planned and had nothing to do with reality. I've literally been a Stassi stan for years, and by the end of the show, I low-key hated her. It will be interesting to see if Stassi Schroeder does some self-reflection and if the series comes back for season 2. Moreover, if she brings back some Vanderpump Rules co-stars that maybe she reconciles with. Stassi Schroeder keeps former Pump Rules co-stars at a distance as she embraces a new chapter. For years, Stassi Schroeder was one of the most recognizable faces in reality television. Known for her quick wit, sharp one-liners, and unforgettable moments on Vanderpump Rules, she helped shape one of Bravo's most talked-about franchises. But today, fans are noticing something different about the former reality star. Instead of regularly appearing alongside many of her former castmates, Stassi seems focused on building a life that looks very different from the one viewers watched unfold on television. While longtime fans continue to wonder whether old friendships remain intact, many observers believe Stassi has intentionally created healthy boundaries between herself and much of her former reality TV circle. Rather than fueling public drama, she appears committed to family life, business ventures, podcasting, writing, and carefully choosing the relationships she maintains. A different life than the one fans remember. Reality television often blurs the line between genuine friendships and relationships created for entertainment. During her years on Vanderpump Rules, viewers watched friendships form, fall apart, and rebuild countless times. Arguments, reconciliations, and emotional confrontations became part of the show's identity. Now, years later, Stassi's daily life appears far removed from that environment. Instead of constant cast gatherings and highly publicized feuds, much of her public image revolves around her family, professional projects, live appearances, and creative work. Social media offers glimpses of vacations, parenting moments, writing, and podcast conversations rather than the nightlife that once defined the series. That shift has prompted fans to speculate that distance from former co-stars may simply reflect changing priorities rather than ongoing conflict. Growing beyond reality TV. One of the biggest changes in Stassi's life has been her transition away from being known exclusively as a reality television personality. She has expanded her brand through books, podcasts, public speaking events, and other creative ventures. Building a career outside a hit television series requires significant focus, and many former reality stars eventually find themselves spending less time with castmates simply because their professional paths move in different directions. Industry experts frequently point out that relationships formed in reality television can evolve once cameras stop rolling. Without filming schedules bringing everyone together, friendships naturally change. For Stassi, that evolution seems to have become part of a broader personal transformation. Family comes first. Another major factor appears to be family life. Marriage and parenthood often reshape priorities, leaving less time for the social circles that once dominated everyday life. Fans who follow Stassi's public content have noticed that much of her attention now centers on raising her children and creating a stable home environment. Instead of glamorous parties and restaurant openings, family milestones have become the focus. That doesn't necessarily mean old friendships have ended. Rather, many believe it reflects a stage of life that naturally encourages smaller circles and more intentional relationships. Fans notice the distance. Social media has become a place where fans analyze every interaction, or lack thereof. When former cast members celebrate birthdays, holidays, or major milestones without appearing together, speculation quickly follows. Some fans interpret the absence as evidence of broken friendships. Others argue it's perfectly normal for adults to grow apart. Many online discussions suggest that viewers sometimes expect reality TV casts to remain lifelong best friends, even though the circumstances that initially brought them together no longer exist. In reality, friendships often change as careers, families, and personal goals evolve. Public drama no longer defines her brand. Perhaps the most noticeable difference is Stassi's apparent unwillingness to engage in public feuds. Earlier in her television career, she rarely shied away from confrontation. Memorable arguments became defining moments of Vanderpump Rules. Today, her public image feels considerably calmer. Rather than responding to every rumor or online discussion, she generally appears focused on her own projects. This quieter approach has been welcomed by many supporters, who believe avoiding unnecessary controversy helps preserve both personal peace and professional credibility. Reinventing a public image. Reinventing oneself after reality television is never easy. Many former stars struggle to escape the character audiences believe they know. Stassi, however, has gradually repositioned herself. Instead of emphasizing television drama, she increasingly presents herself as an author, entrepreneur, podcast host, and mother. That transformation hasn't happened overnight. It reflects years of carefully rebuilding a public identity beyond one television franchise. Why distance can be healthy. Relationship experts often note that creating boundaries isn't necessarily negative. People naturally reassess friendships during major life transitions. Marriage, parenthood, career changes, and personal growth frequently reshape social circles. Keeping certain relationships at a distance doesn't automatically imply resentment or unresolved conflict. Sometimes it simply reflects different lifestyles. Fans often forget that reality TV compresses years of relationships into dramatic storylines, making it easy to assume every friendship should remain exactly the same forever. Real life is usually much more complicated. Business before drama. Another noticeable shift has been Stassi's emphasis on business. Building podcasts, writing books, touring, and developing personal brands require significant time and energy. Successful entrepreneurs often become selective about where they invest both emotional and professional resources. By focusing on projects rather than controversies, Stassi appears to be pursuing long-term career stability rather than short-term headlines. That strategy has become increasingly common among former reality television personalities seeking careers beyond unscripted entertainment. The reality TV effect. Few experiences compare to spending years filming a reality series. Cast members share deeply personal moments while simultaneously working together. When filming ends, those relationships frequently change. Some friendships become stronger. Others gradually fade. Neither outcome is unusual. Many television insiders have observed similar patterns across numerous reality franchises, where former co-stars eventually build separate lives despite years of appearing inseparable on screen. Fans continue hopping for reunions. Despite the apparent distance, many viewers still hope to see occasional reunions between former favorites. Nostalgia remains powerful. Moments featuring original cast members together often generate significant online excitement. Whether those reunions happen privately or publicly remains entirely up to those involved. Friendships don't always need constant public visibility to exist. Likewise, choosing privacy doesn't necessarily indicate hostility. Social media doesn't tell the whole story. Modern audiences often judge relationships based on Instagram photos or public appearances. However, social media offers only a carefully curated snapshot of real life. People can maintain close friendships without posting together. Likewise, appearing together publicly doesn't automatically indicate deep personal connections. Because of this, assumptions based solely on online activity should be viewed cautiously. Personal growth changes priorities. One theme that consistently emerges in discussions surrounding Stassi's current life is growth. People evolve. Goals change. Values shift. Someone who once enjoyed nightlife may later prioritize quiet family evenings. Someone known for dramatic television moments may eventually prefer privacy. These changes don't erase the past. Instead, they demonstrate how individuals continue evolving long after reality cameras stop filming. Looking ahead, whether Stassi ever reconnects publicly with more of her former Vanderpump Rules co-stars remains uncertain. Fans will undoubtedly continue watching for signs of reunions, collaborations, or unexpected appearances. For now, however, her public focus appears centered on maintaining a balanced personal life while continuing to expand her professional opportunities. That doesn't necessarily mean she's closing the door on old friendships. It may simply mean she's choosing to define this chapter on her own terms. Final thoughts. Reality television introduced millions of viewers to Stassi Schroeder during a period filled with unforgettable drama, emotional confrontations, and headline-making moments. Years later, the spotlight has shifted. Rather than being known primarily for on-screen conflict, she increasingly appears associated with family life, creative projects, entrepreneurship, and personal growth. If she truly keeps some former Vanderpump Rules co-stars at a distance, it may say less about conflict and more about changing priorities. A reminder that life after reality television often looks very different from what audiences remember. For fans, that evolution can be bittersweet. While many miss the chemistry and unforgettable moments that made the original cast so compelling, others appreciate seeing familiar personalities grow beyond the roles that first made them famous. Whatever the future holds, Stassi's story illustrates a broader truth about life after reality TV. The cameras may stop rolling, but personal growth continues.